Hello, everybody. This is a special message to Ingrid, who my friend Jose, that's his girlfriend, and he said, yes, she really likes your videos on the UFO topic, and also to anyone who's into that topic, any new viewer or old viewer who's into the UFO UAP phenomena and wants me to talk about it. First of all, thank you all for watching. Okay, it's a subject I'm into just as much as I'm into martial arts, just as much as I'm into trying to get healthy and learning about that, just as much as I am into certain political things. Okay, humanity has more than one capability, more than one interest. So thanks for watching. Now, this is a message to any viewer who feels that way about this topic, but Ingrid, since he mentioned you by name, here you are. We got to talk about this. We've got to talk about this topic, and we've got to do it in a rational, logical way, in a nice, polite way, but we can still be passionate. I'll tell you why we have to talk about it. It doesn't matter what is the cause of this phenomena. We have something in the air, not just all the allergens it's been making me sneeze and blow my nose all morning, because we had a couple rainy days and now all the pollen's out, all the flowers are sprouting in the sunshine. But we have something in our air and in our water, possibly on the land. We have something happening of a technological nature, not rocks, not stones, not swamp gas, not ducks, not bugs, not clouds. We have things happening caused by objects that are clearly artificial. I'm not saying all the reports are this. I would say most reports of UAPs are misidentified planes, are radar glitches, are birds. Most, but not all. And if you take those that absolutely, positively, and not only not fit in the mundane characteristics, but display things that disqualify them as mundane. Okay, a globe showing up on a camera, flying at hundreds of miles or Mach 2 or above, making sudden right-hand turns, being of a metallic character, that disqualifies it from being mundane. Okay, a globe flying in the air, making directional changes at hundreds of miles per hour or Mach 2 is as anomalous as if I did it flying in the air like Superman. Right now, both are equally improbable. So something is happening. And it doesn't matter if it's aliens, a secret government program that must have cost trillions of dollars that nobody knows for, nobody authorized, or a foreign government, or a hidden civilization on this planet that could be human, but is not part of any known civilization and has these capacities, kind of like a Wakanda. I don't care what it is. It's something that needs to be known. Something that potent, that capable, that disruptive needs to be investigated and explored. That's why we have science. Yes, I understand there's some fringe activity. There are people that are psychics or claiming to be psychic or something, claiming to have this and that information. But it hasn't been scientifically verified. It hasn't been put to the test. There are people claiming to have interpretations of ancient scriptures and doctrines, but that's what it is, an interpretation. If we want something in this world, we test it, we verify it. If someone says, I'm a street fighting champion, I'm the greatest fighter ever was, we're like, well, okay. I know it's a controlled environment, but enter the UFC. Enter a boxing match, kickboxing match. You claim to be the strongest. There's a gym. Load up that bench. Show me how much you can bench. We put things to the test. If a woman says, if you look at a woman and she's reasonably attractive, but she claims to be the most attractive woman in the world and men can't get enough of her, I'd be like, all right, well, why don't you and me go to the club and, interact with some people. Let me see how people think about you, right? If someone claims to be the greatest actor ever was, I'm like, can I see one of your performances? That's how the world works when something important is at stake. We look for results, we look for evidence, and the only way we can do that is we investigate it and we put it to the test. We test it out. We pressure test it. A PhD dissertation defense is like a UFC title fight. Someone's trying to gain the title, someone's trying to retain it. And there can be only one. All right? Kind of like that. So if you're interested in this topic and you're interested in my videos, I thank you for watching. Hopefully you like and subscribe. If you see something on the videos you have a question about, ask a question. If you think I am dead wrong, don't start with a personal attack. Show me evidence. And it has to be something, showing me a link to someone else saying something in a camera saying, well, I believe in X and you believe in Y. X is right. That's not evidence. You're just showing me that somebody somewhere disagrees with me. But, for example, if you can prove that, this particular type of UFO is from this place and it has this kind of operator, and you show a slew of photographs, you show stamped government documents, you show film footage that's time-stamped, right? You show someone speaking into a camera, but he's holding up a newspaper and you focus on the date and it's time-stamped. If you can show me things like that, you better believe I'll look at it. You better believe I'll investigate it. You better believe strong cases with data and science and logic and collaborating evidence will get my attention. Okay? Now that we've established that you and I and a whole group of people think this is important, this is worth looking at, well, maybe I should go a little further. Why is it worth looking at? I mean, some of us have paid taxes. Okay? I paid taxes all my life. I paid sales tax, income tax, state tax, federal tax, Social Security tax, and these taxes go towards maintaining many things, some of which are nonsense and some of which are necessary but may be overdone. We've got a defense budget that's so bloated. What are we defending against? For example, we have tons and tons of nukes, and we have strategic bombers. We have Air Force planes capable of delivering all kinds of conventional weapons. And honestly, they weren't that useful in Afghanistan. Right? It was an insurgency, and even military victories don't produce often the strategic victories you want. Okay? So we have this money that we've paid all our lives, and we've obeyed laws, and we've elected people and listened to them, and we've said, okay, this got passed into law, I'm going to obey it, I'm going to support the system. And one of the things that they said that they will guarantee is that our country is safe, that our airspace is safe, that it's inviolable, and not only safe in terms of like no one's going to bomb it, but no one's allowed to access certain things. I'm not allowed to walk in on a nuclear base. I'm not allowed to walk in on a nuclear weapons facility. That's suicide. But this phenomena, I don't care where it's from, appears to have free pass, free reign. Some entity or entities that appear to be technological in origin and intelligently guided can access our airspace as it wills, can access our aircraft carrier task forces as it wills, can access nuclear weapons and nuclear power facilities as it wills. That is a catastrophic failure. For that alone, we need to talk about it. For decades, we have been taught to be ashamed of this topic. We have been taught that we're silly and foolish and unscientific and superstitious for even talking about it. As if in this country, land of the free, home of the brave, there should be anything we can't at least discuss. Okay? I don't believe in censorship. I do believe in civil discourse. So, for example, if I'm talking to you, I will not call you the N-word. All right? I will not. There's words I won't use. There's descriptors that are racist that I won't use in personal conversation. But here, I'm going to show you how fearless I am about this, how adamant I am. If I'm describing something someone else said, I will use their words. There was a white man walking down the road and he said, I hate niggers and I hate fucking butch lesbians and cunts and these goddamn spics. And I'll be like, that's what the man said about women, African Americans, and Mexicans. Notice, I won't use those words, but I feel like if I want to accurately describe what I hear, I'm not going to censor. And in terms of humor and jokes, honestly, I mean, it's humor. People that do humor, that do comedy, get to say certain things, and we get to decide if we reject them or not. Yes, cancel culture is a thing, and it's also okay. You get to not listen to this comedian, but I don't want you to have the power to censor that comedian. And honestly, I feel like in the current state, certain words have more power and more play than they would if we simply were like, well, that's going to how it's going to be. I'm not going to buy that DVD. I'm not going to subscribe to that show. But we try to tell people what they can say. Okay? So I think UFOs, that's not more offensive. That's a very important topic. We need to talk to with our friends, with our neighbors. We need to especially start talking to scientists, professors, government officials about this stuff and saying, look, this is an issue and I want you people to do something about it. I think one of the greatest tragedies of the whole UAP topic is who doesn't talk about it and who doesn't get interested in it and who isn't drafted into talking about it. I've said before on this channel, my friend Trifton, I went to college with him. He was in my Japanese language class. We became lifelong friends with quite a few people in that class. And I started a kung fu club because they were into video games and anime and they wanted to know if these moves could be done in real life. And they enjoyed it. Okay? And Trifton is one of those who absolutely positively not only thinks this topic is nonsense, but that it should be ridiculed and that anybody talking about it has something wrong with them. And when I introduced the topic to him, fairly, maybe around 2016, 2015, something, shortly after I heard about this information, he looked like he was going to get violent and he was going to hit me, even though he doesn't stand a chance against me, right? But he had that much of a visceral response, and this guy's brilliant. I mean, he's worked for a government firm. I think he's in private industry right now. He's a great mathematician. He's happily married with his wife, and I think he's got 2 kids, and somebody's mom is living with them, and he's in communication with his sister. He's a really solid guy, not a crazy person, very bright. He's a lot like some of those people that you see in the TV series Big Bang Theory. And he has a negative interest in this topic, and the mere mention of it causes a near violent reaction in him. It's, as if I'm trying to teach people superstitions and how to burn witches and stuff. Like, that's how far off it is. And that's the greatest tragedy, is we have some incredible minds out there in many different fields of study. And we have statisticians, mathematicians, physicists. We have people that teach aeronautical engineering and all these things who could really, really contribute to this topic and help us get to the bottom of it and help us see what do we need to do to respond to this topic, to have control of our airspace and our sea space, and what can we do to make ourselves a secure, prosperous country in response to this. Because right now, if it is completely ignored, absolutely ignored, and denigrated, that would be the biggest mistake this species has ever made. Okay? And I doubt that that's true. I think if, as some people postulate and some people point to the whistleblowing, which as of yet the evidence is unverified, the physical evidence, mind you, if this is only the property of a secret government organization or an aeronautics corporation that has some kind of special sweetheart deal with our government, or even a branch of service, then what that means is that a cluster of people that are not controlled by the people, by a government allegedly by the people and for the people, are speaking for us, and they are speaking for Earth. And that means we need to start speaking. We need to reassert our control. We need to talk to people who think we're crazy, but we need to find a way to talk eloquently, truthfully, and convincingly that at the very least this merits further study. We need to talk about people like Michio Kaku who says the burden of proof is on those who say this is not happening and this is not extraterrestrial, or at least a techno signature. That's a very bright mind. Neil deGrasse Tyson has gotten more and more neutral in his rejections. Okay? Mick West, if you look at some of his recent debunkings, he's starting to look distressed because he's like, what's happening? Okay? I don't think he's aware that he's about to see a permanent paradigm shift. This topic, as long as it's been suppressed, is now making an explosive re-entry. And it is not burning up on impact. It's coming in hot. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about it to that neighbor who says, yeah, something might be up. But we need to say, you know what, here's why it might be up, and here's why it affects you and your tax money. And if there's all these suppressed technologies that are just better sources of energy, that are better on a heating planet and produce less waste and less pollution, we need to know. We need to start utilizing this for the benefit of humankind. If there's information out there that would unite humanity, hey, we've got this other presence, alien or not. We've got something outside of all known civilizations that appears to have a technological capacity. Maybe this would unite humankind, stop a lot of petty wars and conflicts, right? We could use that. We need to talk to that professor who sneers at the topic. We need to find a way to talk to him and his students and his academic department. I mean, I grew up with several Big Bang Theory type brilliant people. It's been my privilege to know them in college. I didn't grow up with them. I mean, I came up the ranks of college with them. I did a bachelor's, a master's, and a year of PhD. And there are some bright people whose intelligence and unique viewpoints and creativity and innovativeness could serve humanity on this topic, because this affects all of humanity. It may be the most significant development in a field like communication, right? I have a bachelor's, master's, year, PhD study in communication science, and the entire department and every professor would just scoff at anything like this. And therefore, there's no discussion, no protocol for how we would communicate with an extraterrestrial species that made contact with us. None of those minds in the topic have ever looked at it. And same thing with sociology. Same thing with psychology. Same thing with governmental policy. Same thing in business. None of the minds have even turned towards it. What could be an earth-shattering thing? And the funny thing is, many physicists, many biologists, even some sociologists, even some people in governmental policy departments say, yeah, it's highly likely that there is life out there. This place isn't that unique. Our star isn't that unique. Our galaxy isn't that unique. There could be lots of extraterrestrial life forms, and given enough time, many people believe we would encounter them, even if it took us thousands of years to get from here to there. They're like, it's probably inevitable. But no one has actually taught a course on how their field would react to it. There's no psychology department that would be like, how could we possibly understand alien psychology? What would affect the psychology of aliens? Right now, it's the providence of people like me and people who write science fiction, which I've done, people who write fantasy, philosophers possibly, maybe some theologians. Let's talk about this. We need to normalize this. We need to ask questions, and we need to demand things of things like our Congress and our president. It needs to become part of political platforms. Okay? Can you imagine if the political parties, instead of competing, for who could paint the other guy as immoral, would compete for, look, I'm going to be far better at investigating this topic and of exploiting this information for the benefit of our nation and possibly mankind. What if they started competing with each other on that? You bet your bottom dollar we get somewhere. And again, all these potential secret agencies, branches of service, all of these things making unilateral decisions for the goddamn planet, that needs to come to a halt. We need to drag them kicking and screaming into the light. And if they're loyal servants, they'll be like, thank you for pulling me out of darkness. And if they're evil, parasitic, vampiric entities that take our tax money and the power we give them and do nefarious things with them, then they'll burst into flame at the first touch of light, like the vampires they are. This needs to be out in the open. We need to talk about it. So Ingrid and Jose and all the other people interested in this topic, don't be afraid to talk. I realize you might encounter some derision. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. There's nothing wrong with saying, well, if I vote for you in office, what are you going to do about bringing to light some of these claims of extraterrestrial technology? If you're going to go to Congress and be my representative, how will you vote on this topic and why? If you talk to a professor, why has your field not even hypothetically written down some academic propositions for how you would communicate with an alien society? Or how would our economy, if you're an economist, what would happen if we encountered alien technology? What would it do to our economy? Would it increase trade, reduce it? If we reverse engineered anti-gravity type technology, what would that do to the transportation sector? Nobody is asking this on a serious societal level. And if they won't do it, we must. We the citizen, we the consumer, we the viewer, we the voter, we the parish member, we the member of the tribe, of the family. It needs to be a topic, and it needs to be normalized. I'm doing what I can. What will you do?